We do not want to forget to press record. I include you in my mistake.
Listen, I loved it last night. I was dying.
Okay, great. So I got 3 minutes. How was your week?
It was good. How was yours?
It's good. I guess I would say weekend, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. How was yours? Do anything exciting?
No, just stayed home with the kids and worked on a few like client work stuff. So
how was your birthday?
It was not uneventful.
Really?
I think the more you age, the more uneventful the birthdays become.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally.
Nobody threw me a piñata party or anything like when I was 8.
Rude. No pigtail on the donkey.
Yeah. How's your challenge been going?
It was good. We've got like 20 something people signed up.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and like another like 20 people will join today.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool.
Sounds cool. Am I echoing? Because I feel echoey.
I do not hear an echo.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better.
Okay.
All right. As long as you don't hear it.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if we want to get here. Let me send out another tweet.
Oh, yeah.
People.
Yeah. I just sent some out. So love it.
All right. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I think do you want to get started?
Yeah, totes my goats.
Okay, cool. All right. So what do you have for us today? What do you want to chat about?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about like how to execute like a marketing strategy.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And like easy ways to like do that and like keep it focused and make it profitable.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah.
That's kind of, it's about the bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first things first, is you have to print out like a blank calendar. I know like we're kind of like a week into March, but like if you haven't printed one out, go print one. Even if it's like a monthly one, a weekly one, like something, print a blank calendar, and then write down like what you're going to post every day. Because I know that like I will have these like epiphany moments and I'm like, oh, this is such a good idea. Like, let me post that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with like my messaging for the week or the month or like if I have like a blog post scheduled, like I want to like keep my messaging kind of like focused like around like that blog post. So, it definitely kind of keeps me like on track. So I'm not like posting like all over the place. Yeah, so I always like recommend like getting one because I know me, like I'm such like a scatterbrain, so like I definitely like recommend like getting one just to like keep yourself like on track and like knowing what you're gonna talk about.
Yeah. What works best? Would a monthly calendar or like a weekly calendar work best? And then I guess in order to organize a post, I'm assuming I would keep them in like that notepad or whatever that goes on my phone and on my computer.
So I have a monthly calendar that I use. What I use actually is like an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, cool. Oh, fancy.
Yeah, actually I have one on my website. Actually, if you want one, it's free. Like go get it. It's super easy actually. Like, so I have it set up so you can track like what you're going to post on Facebook, on Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, like all those things. And then you can track like the engagement.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way you can kind of, because that's like my last point. But it's like, yeah, it's just super important to see like which of your content's working and like which isn't. Too.
Yeah.
So I try to track it by month. And like kind of have like a theme in mind. So like right now it's like marketing March for me. So I have like tons and tons of like marketing tips that I'm giving out. And like I'm trying to give out like so much like research and development information and stuff for everyone. And just trying to like give everyone as much like marketing information as I can. So I try to pick a theme and center all my messaging around it.
Yeah.
And then two, like for personally, like my business, like I try to like market myself. You know what I mean? If it's marketing March, then like I'm marketing myself. Like I'm guest blogging a lot this month and like all those kinds of things.
That's cool. So do you find that it's easier to do like a bunch of posts or something like that and then say, oh, it looks like there's a theme coming along? Or do you pick a theme and then say, no, now that I'm going to stick with this and then create the content with that?
Yeah. So I pick a theme first.
Okay.
And then kind of content create around it. But I know some people, they pick a bunch of like posts first and then they're like, oh, I see a theme here. Or but I would like maybe try to sit down and like come up with like spend like a half an hour just writing down a whole bunch of content ideas. Like don't stop, just like write down a whole bunch of things, and that way you have a bunch of content ideas to pull from too. And then you can kind of like map your ideas out around that. Yeah. And then if you could see a bunch of themes, you know, and have a whole bunch of months of content.
Have at least 6 months out. Yeah, that would be amazing.
6 months right? That's what I'm here for, you know? Yeah. I wish I would take my own advice and do that, but that's what you should do. Yeah. And then, so also too, then you should take stock of like your inventory.
What does that mean?
So, okay. So like any blog posts that you have, that you've already done, imagery that you have, like quotes that you have, any past writing, anything that you've like done before, like kind of like keep track of that. Cause you can repurpose it. So like something that works in like February could like work again in April.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And like, so you could repurpose it and like not go ahead.
Oh, sorry. When you say repurpose, can we just reuse it or should we go in and tweak it a little bit?
I wouldn't you can retweak it, like say your like stance on something changes or like say, industry standards have changed like since then. Okay. Or you want to like update something on it, like that's okay. But I would always like mention that you've like updated the piece, whatever it is, like mention that it's an update. But you could just like take an article and be like, look, like I posted this in February. But you know, like it is relevant like this way, or like, look how you can use it this way. Like that kind of thing. And that way you're not like racking your brain trying to like constantly come up with content. Yeah. And you can kind of show that you're like versatile.
I just realized I did not present you. So,
that's it. We're like, oh, well.
So at least I'm recording this time.
That's a plus.
So welcome to Boss Chats, and my name is Yasmin. I'm from Robles Designs, and I'm with Ashley from A Love Marketing. She's like the marketing guru. She has a Facebook group and a great challenge that I've been secretly stalking. And yeah, so do you want to give a little intro to yourself and your biz before we continue on?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. So I'm Ashley. I am the founder of A Love Marketing. Oh, sorry, my husband's like stealing my keys as I'm like right next to my face. Anyway, so I kind of specialize in just digital marketing, but I kind of do it all. I do like event planning, press releases, like all those things. But I have 3 international awards for digital marketing. So it's kind of where I focus. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Me. Yeah. All right.
Cool. Sorry. Okay.
That's okay. Yeah. Hey, at least we recorded this time. Yeah. That's a plus.
Small steps.
We're making such progress.
All right. So where were you?
All right. So step 3.
Yes.
Okay. So also do your homework. I know it feels like we're back in school, but like you have to do homework on your industry constantly. I do it every single day. I'm doing my homework on my industry because it changes so constantly. So just like kind of be aware of like what is happening as far as industry standards go, like what is the latest research? And you don't have to like scour the internet like every single day. But like sign up for industry leaders like emails. and that sort of thing. And then just like read them, because they're going to give you their information, like read their blogs, like all of those things. And because if you're not like relevant and you're not like posting relevant information, like nobody's going to hire you. So, which sounds like really awful, but it's kind of true. So, yeah, so definitely just stay on top of it.
So one of the questions that I always get from clients is that, you know, how they're going to start a blog or anything like that. How do they, I guess, differentiate themselves when they're marketing themselves or their blog or any of their written content? Just because they feel like it's been done before. And so if, for example, if they have an industry leader who already explained ABC, why would they go in and explain it again? Or how would they go ahead and explain it again?
Well, so I think like everybody's story is like unique, and everybody's like stance on something is unique. And so I always say like the best way to like stand out is to have a stance on something. Because like my opinion on like inbound marketing and like the best way to do like inbound marketing and like all those things is going to be different from like everybody else like in marketing, you know what I mean? Like, or my technique for that. So have a stance on everything that you're writing about. And like, you know, I don't know, that's just like, I think the best way to like do it is just like take a stance on whatever it is that you're doing. And that'll kind of set you apart and like give you like a unique voice. And eventually like, you know, that voice will like build you up to be an industry leader.
Okay. All right, cool.
And like, yeah, like build your brand. So
make it your own and
yeah.
personality in it. Okay, cool. Step 4, right?
Step 4, yes. Schedule all of your content.
Yeah. So I've been trying to do that a lot more now, but how do you do it, and what tips do you have for that?
So I use like I'm so old school, like I guess because I've been doing it so long that I still use like TweetDeck, and I still like use like my Facebook to like just schedule my posts and things. And I like sit down like just like once like a day and just like schedule all of my content for like an entire week. Okay. Yeah. Schedule all of it out because it like goes back to like keeping me focused. Because then I'm not just like running all around, just being like, oh, I need to post something today. Let me just post the first thing that like pops into my mind. And like scrambling for content. So, and then it frees my time, you know, spending that half an hour, like scheduling all of my content. Like I don't have to worry about it now. And it's like one less thing I need to stress about. So schedule your content because it keeps your messaging in line, and then it frees up your time.
Yeah. So, okay, cool.
Yeah. That is a big one. And then step 5 is you can't just schedule content and then never go back to it. You can't post and run. You have to engage. And because marketing is all like, especially like digital marketing now, like because it's such like an online community now, like you have to engage with people. So if you are not like building relationships, like then that's it. Nobody's going to work with you. So you have to engage with people. So anytime somebody comments on things, like, I mean, you just have to respond. I will see somebody comment on a post from like 6 months ago, and like you just have to go back and like engage with those people. So do not post and run. So
what I think of it, the way I think of it is if you were to be talking to somebody or just have met someone and tell them, oh, hey, this is what I do, and then like walk away.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, here's this really cool article I found. Here are my thoughts on it. And then they ask you a question and you're like, see ya. Like, and you don't like respond like, oh, okay. Like that's what it is. So you just have to treat it like you would like a face-to-face conversation. So I don't know, keep that in mind. Like,
don't post and run. Don't
post and run. Like, because I've seen people do that. And like, I've seen like Facebook pages be like abandoned. And people will like comment on it, but like they haven't posted anything in like 6 months.
Yeah.
And then people are like, hey, like I have a question about this content, and like nobody responds. And then people get angry, and like that just is bad for everyone. And then you need crisis communication, and like you don't want to do that. So don't do that. Just don't post and run. Also, you have to keep your ideal like client in mind all the time. I always say to like record yourself like talking, or like use phrases from like your ideal client and write your content that way.
Okay.
because that'll really like speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that's like a really good way, and it sounds like more authentic. It's like I don't know. I think it's a better way to like reach them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
And that goes along with, I guess, a little bit of the research where you can figure out who your client actually is and how they talk.
Yeah, if you don't know your clients, then none of this helps.
Yeah.
This whole
hard time.
Yeah, then this whole conversation will not be helpful to you at all, and we'll have to have another one about finding your ideal client.
Yeah.
So you have to know them, and just keep them in mind, like always. Just remember that your content is there to like solve a problem for them and like answer a question for them. And if it isn't like doing one of those things, then like it's kind of like a waste of time. So don't do it. Also, like keep your platform in mind.
Okay.
That is like a biggie. So like what works on like LinkedIn is not going to like work on Facebook, and what works on Facebook doesn't work on Instagram, and like all these things. And like, I see a lot of people just think that like you can kind of just like post across the board, and like I don't know, it just doesn't work. So you kind of have to like adapt your strategy to like each platform. So yeah, just keep those kind of things like in mind, I guess. Like, yeah, you don't want to post like super businessy like articles like on like Pinterest or like on like Instagram.
Right.
Because like Instagram is for like super fun like images and like it's like light and
and you're not going to post pictures of your kids on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you're not. The CEO of like
but
you can, but it's just not really gonna like work that well. Like, so just, like, definitely keep like, and that goes back to your like ideal client, like knowing kind of like where they.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I'm like, well, I mean, if your ideal client is on LinkedIn, obviously they're not going to be the ones that want to see images of your kids or whatever.
Yeah. Another thing is to only handle like one or two platforms at a time. Like get those down, like, be a master at them, and then you can go on to a third and then a fourth, like after you master them. But I see people, they like start their business and then they have like 18 different platforms all at one time. And they're like, oh, I'm so stressed out, or like, this isn't working. How do I manage all of this? And I'm like, well, duh. Like you're trying to do, 20, you're trying to grow like 27 lists at one time.
That's a good way of thinking about it. Like 27.
Yeah, that is crazy. Could you imagine? Like, I mean, it's really, really crazy. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that. So grow like one or two networks at a time and then like branch off, and then, so say you have like a Twitter and a Facebook and then you get a Pinterest and you're like, hey guys, why don't you follow my Pinterest page? So then you already have this established network and you can like bring them over to your Pinterest page and then you can like generate leads and all these kinds of things. And like, you can integrate them, but I think trying to do all three at one time, like would be insane. And I think you would make yourself crazy. And it's kind of noticeable when you like wear yourself thin on social media.
So which is the easiest, do you think, for starting out?
I think it kind of like depends on like your business. So like, Facebook, you kind of only have to post like 3-ish times a day to kind of generate leads, where like Twitter is like 5 times a day. But if you want to be like on Pinterest, like you need to be posting like 30 times a day. Yeah,
I really wanted to be on Pinterest and somebody told me that. I'm like,
Yeah, it's about 30 pins a day, but they don't have to be unique. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's not like you have to come up with 30 pieces of content.
That's right, 30 blog posts every single day.
Yeah, you have to come up with 30 blog posts every single day, Yasmin. No, so, if you put 1 or 2 pieces of like original content on there a day, and then you pin 28 other people's like content, like for instance, okay, so I pinned a picture of an avocado slicer a year and a half ago, and like I had 50 people pin it like the last 2 weeks. So it's like still saying relevant. It's not my content, but like my Pinterest has been like blowing up from this stupid avocado slicer.
That's amazing.
That I like pinned. So it doesn't have to be like earth-shattering, mind-blowing content. It just has to be something your like ideal client would be interested in.
Okay, cool. And apparently some people are really interested in avocado slicers.
Yeah. So if you guys all just pin an avocado slicer, your Pinterest might blow up. I don't know. I'll send you guys all the link to my avocado slicer and, let me know how it works out for your Pinterest account.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know. Okay, so then we kind of talked about this already. It's the second to last one. But just kind of knowing like where your ideal client hangs out. Like we said, like people on LinkedIn, they don't want to see like pictures of your kids. But you should really like know like your ideal client like intimately. Kind of almost as intimately as like yourself. So yeah, you should just, I don't know what they like, know what they don't like, know where they are, like, you know what I mean? Like, so moms are going to be on Facebook and they're going to be on Pinterest. They're not on Twitter, and they're probably not on LinkedIn. But if you're targeting like business owners, they're probably on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. So it really kind of like depends. So you need to like really do your market research and just like know them super intimately.
Yeah. And I think it also depends on what, you can even break it down further where it's like what type of business it is, because I mean, I'm not saying the mom and pop shops are, but like they might not be on LinkedIn, but they might be using some other platform for themselves. And then that way you can kind of market to them that way. But
you definitely, you
like,
just have
I'm not going to go on Snapchat looking for coaches to do their website for them. Like, I'm sorry,
they're definitely, I'm not looking for, I'm not like looking for like CEOs on like Snapchat and things like that. So you just have to kind of know like where they're looking for to be like marketed to, and like not that they even want to be marketed to. It's kind of like you just kind of have to present them with like this irresistible like solution and be like, you know what I mean? Like they have a problem, they have a problem, and then where they hang out, and you're just like, listen, I know you have this problem. Here's your solution. And they're like, oh, how did they know?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they knew. And then they're like, sign me up. Like, let me get your product or service, and that's kind of how that goes. And then the last thing is data. If you're not measuring it, like, I don't know, you're not marketing. That's kind of like, if you're not measuring data in some way, shape, or form, then like you're not marketing at all.
Sorry.
There is a quote and I love it. It says that marketing without data is like driving with your eyes closed.
Oh, I guess it does make sense though. That's
because
scary.
you just don't know where you're going, or like, oh, that doesn't work. You just like don't know where your business is going and what's working for your business. You have no idea what sense of direction your business is going in. You could be moving completely backwards in your business and have no idea if you're not checking the analytics. So I recommend like checking them on a weekly basis and then a monthly basis, and comparing.
If people are starting out, what should they look for? Is it just when they're starting out, look for how many likes or clicks you got, or go out on analytics, Google Analytics kind of thing?
I would definitely look like, so if you're like looking at like your Facebook page, like I would look at like how much growth you have like on a daily basis and like a weekly basis, versus like how much engagement you have. And that's like that's like a pretty easy like number to kind of like compare, just like a percentage wise. If you had 100 people liked your page and 96 people are like talking or engaging, then 96%, something like that. And then same thing with like Twitter, like, like see how many like retweets and all of these things like you're kind of getting. And like same with like Google Analytics, like see how many people are going to your website, and like, kind of check your bounce rate. You want it to be under 30%.
Oh, really?
So
You want
Yeah, you want your bounce rate under 30%.
Gotta go check mine after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the way I always try to think, especially for like Facebook or any of the social media platforms, I try to think of it as I'm having, it's going to sound really silly, I'm having a dance party, and it doesn't matter that 100 people showed up, because if nobody's dancing, then it's not a party. So
exactly. Yeah. If you have guys and girls just standing on the wall and nobody is interacting, then it is not a dance party. So yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, you definitely need people to be engaging with your content. So yeah, the best way to know is just like check the analytics and see what's working. You know, if your reader, like, or if your fans and things like are not responding to like you know, stories that you're posting or like your blog posts, like see what it is about your blog post that like they're not responding to. Like, do they not like how long you're posting? Like, you know what I mean? Because I know for me personally, like if somebody has a post and, you know, you click like the more button or something and then it opens to a new window, I'm not reading it. I'm clicking out. I'm not engaging with you. I'm not reading. I'm not reading.
Every time. I'm like,
every time.
This.
I'm like, I'm not reading. And even if it's like multiple paragraphs, like I'm not reading it. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't really have time. I'm like, if it's a blog post, like I will read it. You know, anything kind of under like 1,500 words, I'll read it.
Right.
But if your Facebook post has like 1,500 words, like I'm not reading that. Like, you know, I want something like short and digestible, because I'm not going on Facebook to like
read a novel.
To read a novel. If I want to read a novel, I will go to my Kindle and like go read one. So
just package that thing up, make it a downloadable PDF, and there you go.
Yeah, make it a PDF. Yeah. I always say like, I don't know, Facebook posts and things like that should be like no more than like 5 sentences. And I don't need like, you know, these like complex, like compound sentences, you know, like subject, like predicate, call it a day. Like that's kind of like, oh, you know, I don't need like your dissertation in a Facebook post. You know, just give me like, tell me what the post is about. Like if it's an article that you're posting, tell me what it's about. Tell me what your analysis of it is, and like call it a day. Like,
okay, cool.
That's kind of like, you know, what I want out of it. Like, what is your take on it? You know?
So if it's, for example, if it's an article, and let's say I post an article and then I say, hey, here's an article, here's my 3-sentence thoughts on it, check it out, and then tell me what you think. Was that sufficient rather than summarizing the actual article?
Yes, because like I want to like read the article and like get the information. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm like a huge like geek, and like I love research and like development. I tell everyone, I'm like, if you're not doing it, like you're like, I don't know, you're wasting your time. If you're not doing it, like it's like a huge waste of your time. So like I love reading like new articles and like seeing what's out there in the industry. So like I love being able to read them. So like if somebody tells me like what they took from the article, or like what they find to be important, or like what their take is, or like, you know, what industry standard or something, like I love that, you know, and like I think that sets them apart from like everybody else. So like I just think it makes you look better when you like have an opinion on an article.
When you're not just some bland toast.
Yeah. Because I feel like kind of like anybody can like summarize an article, but I feel like when you give like, I don't know, when you give your opinion on it, like, then you're just setting yourself like above everyone else.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's that.
So I have another, going back to the social media stuff. Have you tried Periscope? I
haven't. I've like followed people on Periscope, and like I watch people's Periscopes. I like it. I just haven't like gotten there yet.
Okay. I was wondering because I know we were talking about, I guess, somewhat about the age groups and the types of people that go on each of the platforms. And I was told, or I heard that Periscope is actually more of like the 25 to 40 range.
Yeah.
And not the youngsters versus Snapchat, which as soon as it came out, it was like all the youngsters taking pictures of themselves and posting on Snapchat.
Tons of selfies.
Yeah. Well, I told one of the people that said, well, this generation is so into selfies. And I said, no, it's because it's so easy now. I mean, if I had enough money to get portraits done every single day of me making funny faces, I would have, if back in the day.
I would have. Yeah. Like, if I had professional selfies, I would.
Van Gogh, I need a selfie done.
Yeah, get over here.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I was just wondering if you were on Periscope or if you had any experience with it.
Yeah, so I love that Periscope. Like, I definitely think it's a place like for like millennials, kind of. I definitely like a place I see like a lot of business owners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
cool.
And I definitely think it's a place for like short, digestible like information. A lot of people will go on there and have these like half-hour Periscopes, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. But yeah, I think I don't know. I really like Periscope, and like I like when people get on them and do them. I just haven't like done it for my business yet. Mm-hmm. But I know like a lot of people do them, and like I personally like to watch them. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like a good avenue like to get into.
Yeah.
I think it's like a really good place to be into.
I get freaked out about the like the 24-hour thing for the videos. So as soon as I see somebody that I'm following, I'm like, oh no, I gotta make time and watch their video because it's gonna be gone in 20. And then I don't know if that's a good thing. Like now I'm getting more views instead of me going, oh, I'll see it in a week or you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was watching this video today, and it kind of like creates like the tension, not the pressure. Because pressure is what makes you feel like gross. That's like what makes you feel like salesy and pushy and like makes you want to take a shower. But like tension is what like makes you want to like jump on something and like makes you want to like purchase a service, makes you want to watch a video, do a webinar, like all of those things. So I think that's what Periscope does, is it forces the tension and like makes you want to do those things. That's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah. So should everything, I guess, in marketing and in sales be somewhat like that, where you give tension, not pressure?
Yeah. So it should definitely be like more tension. I mean, you don't want to be like constant tension because you don't want
wired.
Yeah. You don't want everybody to be like this constant, like tension freak like around you. But I would say like 2/3 of your post and stuff should be like fun, informational, like lighthearted, and then like 1/3 of the time like tension, like
with that too.
Listen, I'm gonna put the tension on you, and like it's definitely like, and it's like a fine line between like tension and pressure. Mm-hmm. It was really weird. I was like watching something earlier, and she was just like, she was like, like pressure is kind of like the salesy, super pitchy, like annoying thing, where tension's like, if you purchase this service today, I'll throw in X, Y, and Z for you, but it's only for the next 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Or limited spots.
Yeah, limited spots, like all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And you're like creating that kind of like internal freak out.
Yeah.
Where people are kind of like, oh, I should probably jump on this before somebody else does.
Yeah. Usually in my head, it goes like, oh, do I really need it? But do I have the time to think about whether or not I need it? And then what if I need it and then I cannot like get it later?
Yeah, exactly. So that's tension.
Yeah, that's cool.
Where pressure makes you feel like you want to take a shower. Feels like a car salesman.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Yeah. So 2/3 of the time it should be fun. 1/3 of the time, tension.
Mm-hmm. So what about, I guess, how do you market yourself, or how do you differentiate yourself in funnels when it comes to emails? Because one thing is going, for example, Facebook is somewhat casual, LinkedIn is more businessy, but then once you have them hooked into your email funnel, how do you both, one, market yourself as the expert, and then differentiate yourself between probably 20 other emails that they're getting?
So I think that comes back to like just kind of having like a unique voice and like kind of whatever you're comfortable with. But I do say like you should not put any tension on them in an email until probably the 9 to 12 email mark. Because so offer them your freebies, tell them about upcoming webinars, like all of those kinds of things. Put them in your sales funnel. Send them emails about blogs that you have like coming out. Show them places where like say you were like guest blogging, like where they can find you there, like videos, tell them about like a free challenge, all those things that you're doing. Give them free. And then hit them with the fee. And that sort of thing. Be super personal. And my first email that always goes out is just like, hey, like, tell me about yourself. Like, here's a little bit about me. Like, tell me about you. And I'm like, no, seriously, like, tell me about you. Like, I want to know you. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? Like, because I don't want to send you emails you don't want to see.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to actually know you. Like, and then the last one, you know, then I'm like, listen, like, here's kind of like what I offer, like all these kinds of things. But it's so one of my friends, she said to me, she used to send out the, her like pitch after like 3 emails. And she's like, nobody would buy it. And I couldn't understand why. She's like, and then it like occurred to me that I was kind of like asking people out on dates. And then after like 3 dates, I was like proposing. She was like, so she's like, now I'm taking them on like 9 to 12 dates and proposing.
Yeah.
She's like, so now they're getting like, you know, all of this content and like, you know, you space it out like 3 or 4 days every email. So they're getting your email for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then you're like, hey, I have this program. Why don't you? And they're like, okay, send it to me. Yeah. Will you join my program? And they're like, okay. And then they do.
Yeah.
And like you offer them something, you create tension.
Right.
You give them something exclusive for being in your email. You know, limited spots. You know, here's a discount for X amount of time just because you're in my list.
Yeah.
Something like that.
All right. So I just wanted to get your take also on the balance between being, I guess, promoting yourself and then being too sleazy, salesy. So, because everybody's like, oh yeah, you should actually promote yourself because people don't know what you do unless you tell them, and people won't know that you're having a promotion unless you mention it. But then how do you balance that between, how do you not be that sleazy car salesman?
I think that's like so hard. And I hate it. I like always feel like sleazy car salesman. So like I try really hard to like never like, I like never ask for a sale, like ever. Actually, it's like super awkward for me. So like most of my emails I got are like, hey, like I'm in a webinar, which is like promotional, but it's not like salesy. I guess like that's kind of like the difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of how like I balance it, I guess. And then like occasionally I send the, hey, just a reminder, like I offer this program, or, you know, like for my husband's birthday, like I offered a discount on it, on my program as like a birthday present to people like on my list.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. You know, so I'm like, that was like my big like promo salesy email. But yeah, I always try to kind of like be promotional without being like salesman. Cause I'm not like, I guess like when you're being promotional, you're not asking people to purchase things. I think that's the difference. When you're being promotional? Yeah. So when I like promote kind of like my webinar, like I didn't ask anybody to buy anything. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
I just said, hey, you know, Yasmin and I are in this webinar tonight. Like, why don't you come? Like, we're talking about free marketing stuff. You know, it's free. You know, it's like promotional, but I'm not like selling you anything. You know, same thing. Hey, it's a free marketing challenge. Promotional,
well, I
but
think
not salesy.
That would be more like promoting your expertise and then having them come to you, I guess. Yeah. So then once you get that, and then you can filter them into your sales funnel, and then you get the 9 to 12 emails, and then you can propose.
without being like sleazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without being that weird person that proposes like
On date
first,
three.
yeah, the three.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I try to do. Yeah. I try to more be like, listen, here's what's free, all this free stuff. Like, and then once you're in the funnel, then it's more free stuff. and then eventually you get an email about the program.
Yeah. All right, cool. If anybody, it might be one person. If you have any questions about marketing or design or branding, what else are you an expert in? Branding, marketing. We have a free challenge, which was pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you can type it in, and if not, I think that's it.
That's
we gotta keep it short so you can get back to work.
Love it. Love it.
Right. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Good thing we recorded this time.
I know, I was gonna say, it's so good we recorded this time. I'm so glad.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much for joining. And if you're watching the replay, make sure to share, make sure to follow it's love with a 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's at a love with a 0 marketing. And you can follow me at Robles Designs. Make sure if you can tweet us any questions that you have, either about what we talked about, what happened last time about the recording, or anything like that. Okay. All right. So make sure to check out her challenge. Do you want to say the link to your challenge or?
Oh, yeah. You could just go to my website. It's just alovemarketing.com. Super easy. And it's just like right there, like on the homepage. You can just sign up. It's super easy. It's just 5 days, and you just get 5 days of like short emails from me with like short PDFs with like little actionable plans. All the videos are like under 5 minutes. So super easy, super easy, but full of info.
Yeah, it is. It's full of a lot of information and broken. I liked it because it was broken down into non-jargony, easy to understand stuff that I could just like print out the PDF or look at it, take my notebook out and do the work. So
thanks. I tried.
I didn't have to read a novel or anything.
I tried.
All right. So thank you so much for joining, and I will let everybody get back to whatever they were doing. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.